Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's live stream where we're going to be live coding for the first time on this live stream series in order to start the process of building a uniquely positive, or I should say, building some uniquely positive digital experiences. So what that's going to look like for now is going to be games. We're going to start with video games and eventually move on to more other things, I should say. So it'll always have the gaming aspect because it's a digital experience. But yeah, so we're going to be live coding today, and welcome to the stream. If you checked out the last stream, you saw that we were planning. We were in the well, this is still the planning stages, but I took a lot of notes last time that we'll get into in a bit. But today is for live coding. But before we get into that, other things that we have on this channel are, real quick, let me run a banner for those who might come after that intro so they know what we're doing today. And there we go. There's the banner running across the bottom of the screen. Yeah, so other things on this channel, we have basically everything that I do. But to kind of summarize and keep it more niche, I kind of keep it to a few things. One is my travel. So there's travel vlogs. And then the other main thing is how to balance your life as a creative, whether it be content creator or artist or anything that is creative. Even if it's not creative, everything is creative. So how to balance your creative life with your professional life on the business side, on the health side, and generally living a more balanced and productive life as a creative, which is oftentimes hard to do. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on, exploring how to do that best with you all in my videos. So yeah, if you have never checked out some of my videos, make sure you check out the channel. And if you're just tuning in, check the banner at the bottom of the screen. It says what we're doing today. A couple more bookkeeping things to get into before we start live coding. Live chat is enabled. So if you have anything you want to say throughout this entire process, the stream, which will last about an hour, maybe more if it's going well and I have more that I can do. Live chat's enabled. So drop anything in the live that you think in the live chat that you think would be beneficial to this stream. I don't have very much I don't have very much software engineering experience. I've started self-learning a couple years ago, but it's always bouncing around, starting over, and I don't know much. So this is in part to be building these digital experiences, and in part to help my community, who is you all, learn how to do that or be a part of doing that as well. So the live chat is open. If you're seeing this after, if you're watching the replay, comments are open and I'll see those and incorporate that into future streams. So ideas are more than welcome. Yeah, so before we get into coding, let me say a couple more things. Well, first, let me say the vision for this project and where we're at now. So what I'm hoping for this live stream, I guess you could say, this whole project, what I'm hoping is to create more positive games, I guess you could start off by saying. I think it would be great to be able to hop on a game and feel motivated to live the rest of your life, and also just kind of feel good about playing, more than just enjoying the game. So that's my vision for the project in general. And then where we're at now, we're going to start with, rather than the whole thing, this vision that I have for a final product or products, we're going to be starting with, as they call it in the industry, in the indie game development industry, they call it a crap game. So we're going to start with my since I don't know much on the software development side, I'm going to start with something super simple. So it might not be so super simple, but it's not going to take like years and a bunch of revisions to finally finish something and then see the entire process. So I want to see the whole process of creating a product, shipping it, the entire process. I want to see that once and maybe twice, maybe 3 times before I start work on my I guess you could call them grander ideas. So what we're going to be working on today is the first crap game. I'm going to be starting building the work environment that I'll be working in, and I will be doing some coding today, which is going to look super ugly, and it's actually going to look a lot like just searching on Google, which is apparently what many developers, if not all developers, do at some point. Some more than others, but it's going to be a lot of Google searching today. That's your first tip if you have never engineered before, is that they use a lot of search and a lot of help. It's a very collaborative industry, so we'll be searching a lot today. And a few quick things, and then we will get into the coding. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I'll run a banner right now real quick. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Aaron J. Kaplan's YouTube channel. I'm Aaron J. Kaplan. Super chat is enabled, so if you feel like helping out with the channel, that's a great way to do it. You can drop a super chat if it's enabled for your location in the world, and then that gives you some perks for as far as engaging with this live stream. And it helps out the channel. I would really love super chats. I would greatly appreciate that. Though I understand not everyone can do that, or wants to do that. So I appreciate thumbs ups. Those are likes, and that really helps these live streams kind of spread a little further than where they start. And then if you could do me a big favor and drop in the comments, happy birthday, because today's my birthday. Yay. 33 years old. So I've been excited about this stream because it'll be on my birthday, but I'm excited about doing this whole streaming thing. So let me make a banner real quick. I'm going to run that in the bottom. Leave a comment or in the chat. Wish me happy birthday. All right. Here we go. Let's put that. Show that one. All right. And let's get into this. So I'm going to share my screen. And full disclosure, I've never done an actual live chat sharing my screen before. So this may or may not work as well as I wanted to, but I've practiced a little bit and it should be okay. And we'll figure this out together. So here is my screen. That's what I have up right now. Over here, you can see, well, I can't see my cursor too good, but I guess my cursor is showing you where it is. So this is our StreamYard software. This is for me on the back end of this live stream, but over here is where we're going to be working. So to the left of your screen, we have Google open. That's a very fitting start. And then we have our IDE open, which is our, I don't remember, integrated development something. Let's see. This is a perfect way to start. What does IDE stand for? I looked this up earlier and I forgot. Integrated Development Environment. So this is where we do our coding. And this is also what runs the projects. I have some experience with Visual Studio Code. I don't remember exactly. I think it's Visual Studio Code. So I have some experience with that. Let's open Google back. But I don't have much. So I will be relying on your help and Google's help. And then over here, we have our notes, which I took on the last live stream. This is what we did the last time. I took I brainstormed what I want this project to be live. I brainstormed it live, and I took a bunch of notes, and then I edited those notes afterwards to make them more cohesive and understandable. So this is where we're working with, but this we're gonna kind of give a backseat right now. Well, actually, no, it's a good idea to probably tell you what we're going to be working on so that if you have advice that you can drop in the chat, then you'll more know what's going on. So first of all, questions I have. I'm going to make a new file right here. New note file called questions to discuss. Questions to answer. There we go. Questions to answer. First off, what IDE would be best? No, autocorrect. What IDE would be best to build a video game on Mac? I'm working on an Apple MacBook Pro. So video game on a MacBook Pro. I don't even know which Pro it is, but we'll just say with Mac OS because it's a different thing than with Windows. Video game with Mac OS. Okay, what IDE would be best to build a video game with Mac OS? So that's a question I need to figure out. So I'm going to hop on over to our friend Google and do that exact question. What IDE would be best to build a video game with Mac OS? All right. Best game development software for Mac. There we go. That sounds like a good one. Is that an ad, though? I never click on the ads because it's always garbage. Creating games on your Mac. Best game development software for Mac. I know most people. So here's something. Most people, when they're creating games, do not use Macs. And that's something I found out. But this is what we have. So some people do. And of course, a lot of the games in the for iPhone and iPad in the App Store, those are created on Macs. But I want something a little more universal. But I mean, I'm using a Mac, so this is what I'm using. So that's what we got. Is Mac OS good for game development? I already answered that question just now. What IDE should I use? Is it better to develop? Okay. Those don't answer my question. Best game development software for Mac. Let's see what this says real quick. If you have the answer to these questions I'm asking, the live chat is a wonderful place to drop that so I don't have to search so much on live. And then I can use your comment or your chat to go ahead and search more specifically. So we have Unreal Engine, which is what I was thinking of using. So I'm actually planning to do this in Unreal Engine using C++, not their Blueprint feature. Blueprint is more like plug and play, where non-developers can kind of go in there and do it, or at least less developers can go in there and do it. But I'm learning C++ because I want to know the deeper what's happening and how to better control my development. Not only that, if I learn and get a job before I'm making any substantial money with these games, then that's the route I'll be taking. So I need to know C++, and I'll be working with Unreal Engine. So I will be using here. What IDE would be best to build a video game with Mac OS using C++? Okay, and let's add that to our Google search. There. What IDE would be best to build a video game with Mac OS and C++? see what we say. What they say. Yeah. Okay. So Microsoft's Visual Studio describes itself as the best comprehensive IDE for .NET and C++ developers, aiming to enhance every stage of software development, including compilation. Visual Studio for OS X shifts the platform onto a new, fully native macOS UI. That's great, and yeah, that'll be good because I do have some experience with Visual Studio, and I have looked quite a bit on what IDEs could be used with C++ on a Mac, and Visual Studio is one of the best ones I've found, if not one of the only ones that I would be able to do. There's also some very much more complicated ways to do it, which I will eventually probably dabble in, but I think the best route for me is the easiest route first. So why make it harder? Doesn't have to be. So we'll be starting with Microsoft Visual Studio. And there's a live chat. Thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you. All right. So, yep, I'm 33 today. Let me see what banners we have going right now, and I might just change them. Yeah, let's run this one. And yep, I'm gonna, now that I got a happy birthday in the book, I'm gonna hide that. And I will, that's good for now. We'll run that at the bottom. Okay, so Microsoft Visual Studio. Okay, so here we go. Working with Visual Studio Code, or I think it's called Microsoft Visual Studio when it's on the Mac. So this is where we start. Blank slate. We have some things down here which I wish I could. That's okay. These are, can't tell much from what you see, but we're going to be doing a new file, I believe. But let's see. Let's do this whole thing because I've very much confused myself when it comes to starting a new project because I've started like 10 with different courses. So we're going to start by saying in Google, good old Google, on Microsoft Visual Studio, how do I start a C++ project? How do I start a C++ project in Microsoft Visual Studio? All right. From the main menu, choose File, New, Project. To open the Create a New Project dialog box. Top of the dialog, set language to C++. Set platform to Windows, or what I have, and set project type to console. So it's telling me on Windows, so I should do this. Visual Studio for Mac OS. There we go. And it is going to be harder. It's not, well, it used to not be as cut and dry, but Microsoft Visual Studio expanded to be working with Mac, so it's a lot easier to get going now, from what I understand. Let's see. How do I start a project in Visual Studio Mac? When you first open Visual Studio for Mac, the start window is shown. From here, you can select New, which takes you to the project creation screen. If Visual Studio for Mac is already open with the solution loaded, you can create a new solution by going to the menu bar and choosing File, New Solution. Okay. So let's see. Oh, you know what? Where is my background music? I knew something was a little bit off. Background music. Let's do some night driving like I have last. There we go. All right. So let's see. file, I guess is where we'll start. Their notebook. So maybe that, I don't exactly know what that is. But I've read a little bit about it. Let's, what is it? Okay, so they have, I think I'm going to do, okay, so I have some questions. What is, I need to figure this out. This is the question of the moment. And if you have the answer, oh, let me run that banner. Because that will help. That people pop in if they know the answers. I'd love to hear in the podcast. Okay, there we go. Let's get this book bigger. So it's easier to work with. First step, starting a new C++ project, and for those who may not know as much about what the languages are and what all this is I'm talking about, so C++ is a programming language. It's a very base level language, and which means that, so it's called an object-oriented language, and I don't exactly know what it means, or really have too much of an idea at all, but it's kind of like, what I understand is that it's more of like it's a lower level programming language, which means that you have to do more, but you have more control. I don't think it's I get. And people use this heavily for game development. Okay, so Explorer tab. Let's see if we can find that. And shift. Explorer. Okay. Not yet. Open the folder. Okay. Create a new project. Click open folder. Oh. Oh, but see, I don't want to do that. I don't want to folder right there. Create a new folder and hello and open it. There we go. Workspace folder is needed in order for build and debug commands work. Okay. There we go. Open folder, new folder, name, first game. And I can share with the computer. So I need to specify Aaron there. Thank you, Gypsy Girl Stories. Thank you for the birthday wish. That makes me super happy. And that also makes me happy that someone's knows what they're doing a little bit. So this is, I don't know how well it translates games development and web dev or whatever it is that you do. I wish I understood more. But maybe you can help me a little bit if you feel so inclined. Anyways, okay, so where I'm at right now, and I guess open, right? So there we go, okay. That's looking a little bit better. Let's see what comes with it. Nothing left. Like folder. Okay, so. Okay. Let's see. Second step. A great first step, by the way. I see it by Ryan, that it's good to implement what you learn as you go. So, I have to think a second. What is the second thing to do after you get your new, let's see, first steps? That's what I'm doing. First step to building a game. with actually a game in Unreal because I am going to be using Unreal Engine. And 5 with, see if I can get this specific with C++ and Microsoft Visual Studio on Mac. I'm sure I can get somewhat there, but that's pretty specific. Google. So I was saying that the power of Google for a programmer, developer, engineer is very grand. People love Google. People love search engines and search. And I have to get used to that because I, as you can tell from my baffled large search here, can it control this big of a search? I'm not good at searching, but I'm going to get there. That's something my wife's really good at, and she's been helping me to learn to do that when I don't know something, search it up instead of asking a bunch of questions. So, okay. Setting up Visual Studio for Unreal Engine. That's probably a good link to have. And okay, so for those of you who haven't checked out the last stream or this stream, or who don't know what's going on, this is my first live coding session, second live stream on this subject of working to build a uniquely positive digital experience. So, being my second session, I don't know exactly where I'm going with this, so what I might do is look up some important links that I think would answer some of the questions I have, and put them in a file over here, and save the good ones. And what I might do is study in between live streams, so I don't have to then read a bunch while you sit there. Especially since there's not so many viewers on here to be able to help me in chat, so I can just chug along. Just to make it a little more entertaining and worth your while. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to first get first step to building a game in Unreal 5 with C++ and Microsoft Visual Studio on Mac OS. And I'm going to try to find the answer to that. And if I can't, I'll put that question in my notes folder here. So, question to answer. What ID would be best? I think I answered that. I'm going to be using Visual Studio. Just going to leave it there so that I don't try to ask myself that question later. Questions to answer. Okay. I'll put it first step to building. Okay, so, and I might put this link right there, but let's find a good link. Setting up Visual Studio for Unreal Engine. That's in the docs of Unreal Engine. So documentation of Unreal Engine. For those who are not developers, documentation is super important, and basically every single software has documentation where it's like a user manual. So that would be a great place to look. Setting up Visual Studio for Unreal Engine. Let's see what it says. Let's see what we can find there. Not a bad at least. Okay. Designed to integrate smoothly with Visual Studio. That's good to know. Which means that I can work on this Mac. There's not any options for Mac and C++. At least there wasn't for Unreal, as I was saying earlier, before Visual Studio made software compatible. Let's see. Okay. All right, so we have Visual Studio. I guess we're on 2019. Let's see, I might need to look that up too. How to find what version I have of Visual Studio. So this live stream is going to keep me very in line, which is good because in my learning up to this point, I've tended to try to skip steps or answer questions or solve things without knowing exactly what's going on. So, for example, I would have skipped figuring out which version I have of Visual Studio, even if I knew that I might need to know it. I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to see, how do I tell? And I am going to leave this link here. I'm going to say, I'm going to look up, how do I tell what version of Visual Studio Code I have? How do I tell? Probably the newest. I just installed an update. I don't know if that's done. How do I tell which I have? About dialog box. Okay. Go to code about Visual Studio Code. There we go. Okay. Code about Visual Studio Code. Version 1.75. And I see. It says Electron 19.1.9, which I think that's where this was saying, right? 2019 is, boy, big. Okay. I need to wrap my mind around that a little bit. I'm going to leave that as a note. Say, make sure let's say, make sure I have the proper and Unreal Engine. And if not, fix that. And this, for those of you who have not tried learning to code on your own, this is what it's a lot like. Though, of course, there's not a live stream going on, but for me there is. But I've done this before, and it is very much, what's the word? Like, frustrating is the word. Super frustrating going in circles and like trying to find answers online every step of the way. But that's how you do it. And I'm committed. I've been trying to do this for years. Now I have a live stream to hold me more accountable. Kind of organize and direct me in the proper direction. Let's see. VS Code version is the first version number listed and has the version format. So then it might not actually matter which version of Visual Studio I have. As long as what did I make as a note here? Make sure I have the proper version of Visual Studio and Unreal Engine, and it's not this side. Okay. Let's skip this for now because I have the note down to do it. Let's go back to these docs. Let's see. Oh, this is important. Before setting up, that skipped right over it. Before setting up your Unreal Engine to Visual Studio workflow, and this is what I need to know, so better read that. Run the Unreal Engine prerequisite installer. Installing Unreal Engine from the Epic Launcher, or if you clone it from GitHub, the Unreal Engine UE prerequisite installer runs automatically. However, if you install or sync UE from Perforce, you will need to manually run the prerequisite installer before running any UE tools you have built locally. The installer is located at there. I already have it installed actually, and I haven't opened it in a long time because I installed it a while ago, but never got to that point in the courses where I can actually use it. So it's kind of just sitting there, no idea how it's gonna run. I'm actually not gonna open it during this live stream because it's huge software, and it honestly might crash the live stream. So I'm going to first check that after this live stream, see if everything's in order, if I'll be able to run it with a test live stream. And if it can, then I'll do it next time. If not, I'll just open it next time so it's open and running when I start the live stream. I think that might help a little bit. If not, I'll find a solution before the next stream. If there is. Or a workaround. Alright. I have that. Add C++ tools to your Visual Studio installation. Make sure you select game development with C++ under workloads as well as these additional options. Okay. This is important. I need to make sure I do this. Add C++ tools to your Visual Studio installation. Oh, but I already installed it. Let's see. Where is it? Workloads. Let's see if I can find workloads. Where are you, workloads? Or is that something I can find here or not? Might have to go to help. That must be something you do when you install it. Add that to the note. You should have the proper version of Visual Studio and Unreal Engine. Not fix that. The proper version. What's there? Yeah. Code I need. Workload during installation. Out. Because we actually installed Visual Studio on this computer before I ever decided to go into game development. So this definitely wasn't installed with that in mind, with this in mind. I need to figure out how to add that, I guess. Solution, figure out how to add that workload. Okay. And what else? Profiling tools. Address advertiser optional. What that even is before I install it. My method that I'm going to be going with, as long as I can understand it. Check every single bit. And luckily, I have these streams I can go back and watch them, and that's a good way to take notes also. All right, and Windows 10 SDK. Is that there? Oh, okay. I'm gonna put this down. Okay. Include the Unreal Engine installer. To include the UV installer and installing VS. Locate the summary sidebar on the right. Oh, geez. I feel like I might have to reinstall Visual Studio, but I'm not going to do that right now. That's an executive decision that's going to have to be made outside of the stream, because I don't know what that would do to anything that my wife has on here. So, let's see. Notes. Okay, so. Along with video. And so I'm going to go back to the stream over here, banners, and just check it a little bit for a second. Not related to exactly what's happening right now. This, as I said, this might be a little bit messy, but before you tune in, I'll be doing this hopefully every Wednesday and Saturday, at least once a week, if not those 2 days a week. Hopefully every week. And the more you tune in, the more this will make sense. You'll be working along with me, and it'll clean up over time. It won't be so messy. First of all, from my end. Second of all, from our end, as we work together on it. Let's see what kind of banner can I run right now. I bet I'll run that. Anyone who comes in right around now. Okay, back at it. The Unreal Engine installer. I'm gonna say, instead of copying all that down to my notes, check Unreal documentation. Check documentation for construction. What I need to check in the documentation. Alright, so I have a lot of homework. I was thinking that I would just, instead of doing homework, I would do it all with you all. But as I'm seeing, this is not, I think I'm gonna have to go to my original plan, which is do homework in between streams, and give myself some reasonable stuff to do, because it might be a lot of learning, but we'll see if we can break through this today. Well, no, because I've got this executive question to ask. So I'm not going to be able to make this decision in this stream, but maybe in the next stream I'll decide if we can make some major breakthroughs on live. I might not do homework in between streams and just straight up do this with you so that we can learn together. Well, let's see. Let's continue a little bit, see if I can fix this problem without reinstalling Visual Studio, and that would be a major breakthrough. The version of VS below looks a little different. Team with these start. Yeah, so that looks. Doesn't look like. Maybe a little bit. Let's see. File, edit, debug. Oh, test. So team tools. Yeah, it doesn't really look anything like mine. I feel like I'm using the wrong. Yeah, okay, for sure. So this happened before in some other things that I've learned, where I try to make it work in the IDE that I'm using, and I just kind of try to make it happen without getting the correct work environment set up. And like I got into the C++ course, got about a quarter of the way through and had the whole wrong environment set up, and it just collapsed on me. It was impossible to keep going. I would have had to start over the course. That was the most recent thing I was doing, was deciding, should I start over the course, or like, if I do start it over, how do I go about doing it? So yeah, it looks like with the C++ and Unreal Engine set up for Visual Studio looks nothing like this, as would be expected, because this was not for C++ or Unreal. Visual Studio Code. Well, that answers my question, I believe. So I'm gonna answer a lot of the questions. What I use best on videogame plus Visual Studio code. First step to building a game. Make sure I have the proper version of Visual Studio and Unreal Engine. If not, fix that. I don't think I do. So we're gonna go. Yeah, that's what I have to do. Homework. Okay. No. Yeah. Coding notes. So I need executive decision first. If I can maybe even download or install it a second time. I'm not sure if I could do that. Have two versions of Visual Studio on the computer at the same time. I don't know. So that's a question to ask. I'm gonna ask Google instead of pestering my wife all the time with these questions, because I could see this going that way, where I leave every stream and bring all my homework to her, but that's not available for most people, nor would that be very respectful for me of her time when I could literally ask Google. So how do I say, can I have two versions of video installed? Yeah. Term side by side means you can install and maintain multiple versions of a product on the same computer. VS Factory means you can have several Visual Studio versions installed on the same computer. Epic! Okay. I'm gonna try it. I need a couple answers or confirmation on this. So first, here. It's my birthday. I'm 33. Is it possible to install two different versions of Visual Studio? That's my question. Yes, you can install multiple versions, but install the lower version first. Yeah. Would it cause any problems? Yes, you can do so. Projects made in lower versions can be opened in higher versions only once, because after that it will be upgraded to higher. Oh, okay, yeah. That's not really a concern right now of mine. I think I'm gonna. Well, I'm gonna ask executively. Bring this to the executive desk and ask, because I don't want to get this wrong with the Google search. I'm gonna ask if I can install this one without messing up the other one. I'll do that after this stream. Let me make a note of that. It might seem like not much is going on right now, but there's a lot of connections being made, a lot of things happening that have happened. Making progress, y'all. Let's see. Install proper IDE. I'm gonna star that. Alright. Okay. Install proper IDE. First is I can without messing up anything that has been built with the other. So this may be where we end, because that might be the executive decision that needs to be answered before I continue. But let's find out if we can do any more in this stream. Do I have? Yeah, I'll put that there. Documentation. I copy this to the notes. Yes. Let's get all these notes. Yeah, I think that's where we're going to end today's stream. But thank you so much for those of you who have joined. I will be coming in every Wednesday and Saturday. So if you just joined, you can catch me every Wednesday and Saturday. You can also watch it on replay. When it's done, you can rewatch it and see what happened. For those watching after this is done, you can leave comments and I'll see those. But look out for the next stream. What we did today, we figured out that I need to reinstall in a different way this Visual Studio, but to work for C++ and Unreal Engine, because this was not installed for that purpose and doesn't have those workloads integrated. I hope I said that right. I found some links. I found the Unreal Engine documentation for how to start playing a game. That will help. And then, let me go figure out if I can install this new version of Visual Studio without disrupting anything on this old version that was built with this that's on the computer. So anyways, thank you so much for stopping by. I look forward to streaming again coming Wednesday. If not, you'll know because it won't be there. But I'll be uploading these streams about a day before scheduling them, so you'll know the day before. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you next time.